Hey everyone, this is totally not take two. We totally did not record half of that show and forget to press record. But this is Screams After Midnight. I'm Peter. That is Tim. We talk about horror movies, sometimes twice because I forget to press record. It's almost the end of the year. This is the last review of the year we'll be doing, and we've timed this nicely. We're going to talk about New Year's Evil, which is a slasher movie from the early 80s that's all set on New Year's Eve as a killer works his way. Well, he didn't wake up. So the plot of this movie is that a sort of New Year's countdown host who's doing like a rock show, counting down to midnight in the West Coast, Los Angeles, I think, is, counting down, and she gets this phone call, this obscene phone call from a killer who says, I'm going to kill someone at midnight. And he kills someone at each of the midnights across all the US time zones. So he kills the first one at the Eastern Coast midnight, and he works his way across, and it's all sort of building up to him possibly getting to her and coming after her at the end of the movie. So nice sort of countdown sort of thing to it. Unfortunately, this is take two, and it's a shame because Tim asked me a really stupid question in take one, and I thought it was hilarious. Tim, even though we've already had the laugh and I already made fun of you for it, can you please repeat the question?
Well, see, I'm not above admitting when I make some mistakes, but yeah, I at first I thought that it was like kind of odd that he would be able to kill someone in each time zone. It would be impossible for him to do that much traveling in one night.
And then I informed Tim that he wasn't actually in each time zone. He was in the one place. He's in Los Angeles the entire time, and he's just killing people at those times. So the first one would be 9 p.m.
Yeah, it'd be like 9 p.m. our time, and then
and so on. Through until he gets to midnight Pacific. Yeah, so that's the plot of the movie.
To my credit, though, there's nothing in the movie that really explicitly says that he's on the West Coast at first. So I don't think I'm totally off point here.
But he's there at the end. Tim, that's like saying when you watch, I don't know, like Titanic, and you ask me at the end, Peter, did the aliens put the iceberg there? And I go, Tim, what made you think that?
No.
Well, nothing in the movie specifically said that it wasn't aliens.
That's totally different. We all know who put the iceberg there.
Who?
Oh, the devil. He hated that boat.
Okay, fair enough.
Read the Bible.
Tim, did you like New Year's Evil?
Yeah, actually, I surprisingly like this movie. It was the first time I've seen it. I didn't really know much going into it, but yeah, it was really doing it for me. It's the type of slasher movie that I like, where it's over the top, it's kind of cheesy. I'd say it's really cheesy. There's actually a lot of funny moments. I like the killer, and yeah, it was just all around really fun.
I think the killer carries a lot of it because the actor playing him, he's not a good actor per se, but he's an entertaining actor.
Definitely.
The whole time. And we see his face, we don't know who it is in terms of what his name is or anything like that, but we know his face, and we see him like go into each of the kills, and he puts on disguises. He dresses up like a doctor to get into a hospital so he can kill a nurse. He dresses up with a fake mustache, and he looks like a yuppie to try and pick up a girl at a bar so he can kill her, and like that's kind of like the whole setup. It's almost like the fun part of the movie is how's he going to get to his next victim. Because he's like driving around Los Angeles, going to different places and dressing up in different outfits and try to like get close to people so that he can kill. It's like he's almost been too confident that he can find a victim like every hour, until midnight.
That's why, yeah, like we see like one of his kills. I think it was like the second one where he's like getting really anxious and like rushing the person, because he needs to make sure that he kills her right on time.
Yeah, he's getting anxious because she's brought a friend, because she's like, nah, you wouldn't want me to go with a stranger, would you? He's like, oh, no, of course not. I would kill you, but yeah, that's fine. But, nah, so it's a really fun, if you like 80s slasher movies, I feel like you'll get a lot out of this. The one thing that, fans of slashers might not like is just the kills aren't that, like, interesting or, because they're not bloody, they're not gory, they're not, but it's the build up to the kills. It's how is he getting to his next kill that makes it a lot of fun, and I think that part of it is great. And you have all these cheesy moments with the killer and the actors. We haven't even spoken about his phone call voice yet. He disguises his voice because he calls this, this New Year's like countdown rock host called Diane Sullivan and says he's going to kill someone at midnight, and every time he kills someone, he sends a recording. He plays a recording over the phone of the person dying, and that's kind of the sort of the gist of the movie. And and when he phones her, he uses this like voice changing technology, I say technology. It's like a little device he puts in his mouth, but he's like this. I am evil. He calls himself evil, and it's funny because he says it a couple of times as well in the first phone call, because he says it, and then she's like, "What do you mean you're this?" He's like, "No, evil." It is the most goofy thing ever, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's like crazy, over the top, and like even like the way the thing works is like it's not like just like a little microphone or something on like the side of the face. It's like this little thing that he has to hold, and it just like looks funny the way he's doing it, and kind of like it looks like he's trying to be all secretive, and it's weird and over the top, and like it almost like makes it like it almost makes him kind of like pathetic in a way. Like I almost like felt bad for him, like, oh, this guy's trying,
He's trying a bit too hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a bit much for it. Yeah. But nah, so I think the movie builds up really well, because you have these kills and him like racing against the clock to kill people, but at the same time, because the entire movie's counting down to midnight, and because the main target that the killer's going for at the end of the movie is this show on TV who's like constantly on stage talking to the crowd, there's this sense of everything like counting down, and the movie always has an energy because of that, because it keeps cutting back to the crowd like dancing to the music and things like that, and it just, the momentum keeps going, it just keeps flowing.
Yeah.
And I think that's for all the things you can say about this movie being goofy, and it's more so bad it's good rather than actual good, it does actually keep a pace that is really consistent and really fun and throughout. So I think there's actually a lot of merit you can give it beyond just, oh, this is kind of goofy and that's fun.
And I think it fits really well with the theme, which is that that's like what New Year's is.
Yeah.
It's like this countdown, and or saying again, but it's like everything that takes place on this one night and all leading up to it, and it's I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's almost like they took what the holiday was and actually made a horror movie that's based on the theme of the holiday, rather than just, oh, someone killing people on X holiday.
Yeah.
So I think that works quite well. Because I feel like a lot of the other ones maybe don't have, it's just, Valentine's Day Massacre. Oh, it's, killing people on St. Valentine's Day, Halloween. And I love Halloween, but it's just killing people on Halloween.
Right.
Friday the 13th, actually, that would have been one where maybe, like, obviously it ended up just being like a Halloween kind of knockoff in a way. But that would be the one where you could have done, like, oh, it's all about being unlucky.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the killer, like, watches people, and it's like, if he sees someone step under a ladder, it's like, oh, right, that's you killed.
Yeah.
You not abide by superstition, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a good way to do it for Friday the 13th, if you were going to do a new Friday the 13th movie that wasn't anything to do with the other franchise, because blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But anyway. Nah, really fun. Fun killer, goofiness, and all the rest of it. So I think that'll do for spoiler free, and we will jump into spoilers now. So full spoilers from this point on for New Year's Evil. So a couple of moments that I really want to talk about. Right at the start, it's a really simple thing, but we open with like some of the crowd coming towards the show.
The punks.
Yeah, the punks in the car. Yeah. And there's a lot of really random moments where they're just so over the top, and this van pulls up next to them, and a girl opens the van and flashes them her boobs for no reason. But the moment I really want to talk about is when they arrive at the front door, and there's like, for some reason there's a policeman taking tickets. I don't know why it's a policeman that's taking it. Like, I get having security, but why is he the one taking the tickets? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But it's when they go up to him, and he repeats like multiple times, tickets, please, ticket. He keeps saying it. He says it like 5 times, and it's really robotic and like monotone. It sounds like they didn't get an actor for this. It sounds like someone who's terrified to speak on camera, and it really stuck out to me. And then the main punk, like, you think he's got like a switchblade, and it turns out to be a comb.
Yeah, and if they spend so much time on these characters that end up being like nothing to do with the movie.
Now, the only
Like,
time you really see them after this is occasionally in the dance, like when it cuts to the crowd and they're dancing, you see them in
yeah,
the crowd, but that's about it.
and it's weird. There's one like that's like that always like was super close to the stage. And always like looked like he was like reaching out, to the stage, to that host lady, and like I don't know. It just kept seeming like, oh, they're gonna have something to do at some point, but it's like completely like irrelevant.
Because what I thought might happen at the end is when the killer shows up at the show, like the crowd would all defend her because they like her, because it's their rock
Yeah,
show and that she's this like big rock mistress. I think they introduce her as,
yeah.
and I thought, oh, maybe that's where it's going. Like the crowd will actually like beat up the killer at the end, and I thought, oh, that'd be a nice little ending. No,
No.
no, that's not what happens. But we actually have this weird subplot throughout the movie with her son.
Which did you think that was like her husband or boyfriend at first?
I thought it was her boyfriend at first. I thought it was like a young
Yeah,
boy toy type thing. Because even though
yeah.
he was clearly younger, but like they kissed on the lips and he was bringing flowers. I'm like, is this like or like her young guy kind of thing? And then
It was super weird.
it quickly became, oh, it's mother and son. That just makes the kiss kind of weird, to be honest. It was a really weird kiss for a mother and son to
And he was
have.
like overly needy and like seemed to be like jealous of her,
Oh yeah,
which
he
was
really
weird.
he really wanted attention and like appraisal for the things that he's done. Like, oh, I got a part in this TV show.
Yeah,
Listen to me,
which is
mother.
pretty big news.
It is pretty big news. Yeah, and she won't listen to him. She's too self-obsessed with what her own schedule for tonight's like show is,
Yeah.
and she doesn't listen to him. So we occasionally cut back to him throughout the movie, and we see him put a stocking over his head, and he puts on like a visor type thing at one point, and he's just kind of creeping around, and we know he's not the killer, even at the first time, because we've already seen the killer, so we
Yeah.
know that's not where it's going. Although it kind of does at the end, but we'll get to that. Like, so we know he's not the killer, but I'm just like, what is the son's deal? Like, is he going to outkill the killer at the end? Is that what's going to happen? Like, I don't know.
Again, it was really almost like not like well, I would say yeah, just like not important to the story at all.
Well, it
Uh,
kind of is because of the way it ends. Like, there's,
that last little bit at the end, but like
yeah.
other than that, you really could have cut this out of the movie, or at least just I don't know, change the
I,
characters.
I, I
or
wouldn't, I wouldn't want them to though.
something.
Come on, are you kidding me?
It is part of the charm, I would say.
Definitely
But
part of the charm. So the killer ends up being probably the most obvious person it could have been, which is the husband that we've heard about throughout the movie, and like the kid's dad. It's
he
a,
just got out of the insane asylum.
it's just it's a neat little twist.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, you see it coming, but it works well enough. But the way he like just like opens up to her in the elevator, he just like starts confessing and playing the recordings to her, and she's like, "Oh, it was you all along."
Yeah.
I love that she's like, "Why did you do it?" And the first thing that comes out of his mouth when she says why is, "I was fed up." That's the first thing he says. Now he does go into more of a detailed explanation. He goes into like a sexist rant about women being awful people and diminishing. I mean, it all turns out that the reason why he has went nuts is because he's like, she's the one that makes the money, and he's like feels emasculated because he gets an allowance, as he puts it, and he's talking about her like looking down on him, and it. Like, I will give the movie some credit here, actually. It kind of links up to the way she treats her son.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In a weird way, you kind of see where the seeds of that were through their relationship as well. And it actually kind of, in a neat little way, sets up that the son is going to go crazy like his dad. Like, he might just go... We've already seen him put a stocking over his head and, how needy he is. So
Yeah.
it makes sense that, the apple does not fall too far from the tree. But his little speech is nuts, and he puts on that Nixon mask at the end and jumps off the building, and we end with
that fall. That is like some great dummy work.
that was a fantastic. I'll give it some credit. I mean, obviously, it was an obvious dummy. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed like as he was falling, you could see like the ripples of his jacket in the back, like proper
Yeah.
rippling, and I thought, that's a nice little detail they caught on camera.
If I had to pick a favorite character in the movie, it might be his first victim, that nurse at the beginning. I was cracking up pretty much through the whole interaction. Like she had this very weird way of seeming almost like as crazy as like the people that would be in the insane asylum. Oh, which we didn't even really talk about uh this insane asylum, which is just these like people like very awkwardly dancing while watching TV.
Yeah, because they're
Which
watching the same like rock show that
yeah,
like the like that Diane's like hosting, and they're just kind of really weirdly dancing. Yeah, it's very
it's
strange.
very like I don't know. I feel like
It's
it's definitely doing a discredit to the mentally ill or like who would be
oh god, yeah,
at a
it's
place like that.
politically correct. This is not like that's very clear. That's not the most random thing in the movie for me, though. I feel like the most random thing in the movie for me is the fact that after he dresses up like a priest, he somehow
Oh
gets into
yeah,
a car chase with a biker gang.
yeah.
Like, like what? How did we get there? I mean, it just kind of happens. He accidentally hits one of them with his car,
Yeah.
and sure enough, they all like, start chasing him through a drive-in movie theater,
Mhm.
which
And then
which leads him to kind of accidentally abducting his next victim or
yeah.
next potential victim. He doesn't actually seal the deal, if you will.
And then like you said, it would make sense if this was something where, he runs afoul of this gang and then since he's a crazy killer, he goes crazy and murders them all one by one. But that's not what happens. It's
No,
just like it's almost like a again kind of comical where he's like running away from them.
dressed
It's
as a priest. By the way, throughout
yeah.
this movie, he dresses up as the following: a doctor, a police officer, a moustache yuppie, a priest, and Nixon, I guess. At the end.
So it almost reminded me of like it was kind of like early '90s comedies that you would see like Ace Ventura or something, where like they're sneaking
Mm,
into places and like
I can
dressing
see
up
it.
like
I can see it. I see where that comparison is coming from. I almost expect Scooby Doo to be the one that busts them. Like, it's like, and they got away with it
that would
too
make
if it
sense.
weren't
Yeah,
for you meddling kids.
you meddling rock star.
Oh man, no, I have a lot of fun with this movie. Yeah, like you say, you mentioned the scene where he picks up the woman at the bar, but she brings her friend, so he's constantly looking for an excuse to get her out of the car. But the woman the entire time in the car is talking about, oh, you should really do this trance meditation stuff. It's really good. And he's just like, oh, I want to kill you so bad right now. You can just see it in his eyes.
Yeah,
He's ready to be done with her.
it was and again it was very funny. Like just his expression and knowing that I feel like it's not often that you want like the killer to kill someone, but you are kind of like you're kind of on his side,
Hmm.
like in this, and yeah, just knowing like oh he's so gonna kill her, like this is gonna be bad.
Yeah. Actually, obviously the police officers aren't the greatest in this movie. The,
Oh
the
no.
the lead detective who's looking into the case, he's been called after the first obscene phone call. He calls again and they listen in on it, and afterwards like, now Diane or Miss Sullivan, he may have said, he appears to be using a voice changing device of some kind. It's like, oh, great, we've got LA's finest on this one. Yeah, he's using a voice changer. Good job, Mr. Detective. And this isn't really a question of the quality of the police work, but I loved it. Towards the end, just before Richard like actually corners her in the elevator. She's with that cop, and she's just making small talk with the police officer who's taking her down and escorting her. And she's like, "Oh, are you married?" He's like, "Yeah, 10 years now." "Oh, got any kids?" And his response is, "Two sets of twins." Like, all right, two sets of twins. That's very specific. I mean,
Yeah,
under the ones, it's common to have lots of twins in a family line. Like it runs in the
yeah,
family, but to have two sets of twins from the one set of parents, that's a lot of
yeah.
twins.
It's weird to just bring it up like that. Like I feel like you would say something like, oh, "Do I have kids? Yeah, I got plenty. Two sets of twins, if you can believe it."
Well, I wouldn't even dispute the way he says it. It's more just that she doesn't even react. It's like, oh, that's nice. No,
Yeah.
you would say two sets of. So you ended up with four kids.
I
Like,
mean, she doesn't even care about her own son. She doesn't care about other people's kids.
this is true. This is true. Which is why at the end of the movie, the son's got the Nixon mask on and he's like kidnapped her in the ambulance. She's a goner.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Sad ending. Everyone dies. The end.
Which I would have been all on board for a New Year's Evil 2, the son taking up the mantle.
You know, I kind of feel like it was deliberately leaving it open for that. Like it felt
Yeah.
like, yeah, we could have New Year's Evil 2 where the son comes back next year for New Year's
Yeah.
Eve and goes on a rampage. But for whatever reason, we never got a second one, which is a shame.
And especially since it's a holiday, it doesn't have a lot of horror movies to it.
Yeah, because typically if we do slashers now, we do them as double features and we do talk about two back to back in the one video. But obviously we wanted to do this for New Year's Eve, and there's not really anything that goes with it. There's no other, at least to my knowledge, there's no other New Year's Eve or New Year's Day story. So here we are, just the one.
But at least it was a good and a fun one. And honestly, it might be something that I'll watch again around New Year's next year.
Do you know why I think this would even work quite well as a franchise to an extent? Is because most of the fun, I mean, I liked a lot of it. I liked the countdown and the constant cutting back to the rock show and this sort of ticking time bomb of everything coming down. But I think the reason why it works more than anything else is the fun of seeing the killer trying to get to his next victim in time. Putting on the disguise, getting to them and convincing them to go away with him alone so that he can do the deed. That's what's fun, and you could keep doing. If he has like 4 in this movie, he can do four different ones in the next movie, and it could be really different. He could dress up as I don't know, take your pick. He could have any alias. That could be the whole gimmick of the movie, is that he keeps having these different like stories and absurd reasons to get alone with these women to kill them.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. Like, so many people go out and do different things, on New Year's, that there's lots of areas for him to explore. And
yeah, he could be
it's not
firefighter for one of them.
Yeah, firefighter, cowboy. Go to I don't know.
Yeah, why not? I mean, sure.
Sure. But yeah, it's I would love to see more. But again, I'm very pleased with what we got.
Yeah, the movie's a lot of fun. I would recommend it to slasher fans of the 80s because it's really good, really enjoyable. So that'll take us on to some ratings. Let's talk about what we would give this bad boy out of 10. Timmy, what would you rate?
Yes. I didn't know if you were being dramatic or just wanted me to answer right away.
That was a dramatic pause. Your instincts were right.
Okay.
You borderline ruined it. If you'd been a split second earlier with that phrase, you'd have ruined it. But no.
Oh, thank God. I would give it a nice little 7.5. It's a lot of fun. It's good. It's entertaining. Not the deepest, most perfect movie, but very good at what it does. And
yeah, I think obviously the acting and the dialogue is really cheesy and silly and unbelievable, and people don't really feel like real people, but that's okay. It's fun. It's a horror movie cartoon essentially.
Yeah,
I would go with 7. I think I'd give it a good solid 7, which is to say, it's not a masterpiece. It's not a movie you say, oh, this is what horror is all about. No, this is just a solid, fun 80s slasher movie, which I think is perfect for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. If you want to watch something to, fill that void.
I think especially if if you're celebrating with like some friends and you have a couple of people over, this is like a great, kind of party movie. Like on New Year's, I feel like you can easily put it on your background and have it on while you're hanging out and enjoying the night and stuff.
Yeah. So there you go. That's New Year's Evil. That was a nice, fun and quick movie. Very easy to watch. Quick, 85 minutes. That's you done. You're fantastic stuff. So thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you think of New Year's Evil if you've seen it in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Of course, me and Tim did put up our top 10 horror movies of 2016. That video is already up. Our top 10 worst horror movies of 2016 is probably not up yet, because we recorded it already, but I don't think it'll go up until after this one. So look out for that in the next couple of days. That's coming as well. Make sure you check out me and Matt doing the top 10 movies and the top 10 most anticipated movies for 2017, which is also going up this week too. So thank you very much for watching. Get us on Twitter at @mailed_fuzz, and Happy New Year, guys. We'll see you in 2017.